Hello everybody, welcome back to my TV review series. Today we'll be discussing Snowfall Season 6. Just finished watching it. I believe the series premiere, or the series finale was aired yesterday on FX. I watched it streamed on Hulu. And this is a series I have liked substantially throughout the seasons. So you know what we'll be doing? I'll be giving you I'll be reading the overview. For a refresher, we haven't done this one in a while. But I will be giving you my overall impressions and grade. Past that, if you have not seen the season and would like to, based or not based on my recommendation, you want to shut off the video. There will be spoiler alerts. Then we'll be discussing plot synopsis and character development, major themes, not really, crack story in the 80s. I believe it's completely fictional, but some historical backing, but nothing specific. So overview. It's 1983 and the crack cocaine epidemic is in its infancy in Los Angeles. Ambitious Lucia, the daughter of a Mexican crime lord who sells marijuana throughout the city, sees the burgeoning cocaine business as a potential moneymaker. So she manipulates her family into entering a more dangerous and profitable territory than pot. Getting involved with the new drug is setting her on a violent collision course with the likes of Franklin, a young street entrepreneur on a quest for power, and a former Mexican wrestler, Gustavo, who was caught up in a power struggle within a crime family. Also getting involved in the cocaine trade is CIA operative Teddy, who is running from a dark past and begins an off-book operation to fund Nicaraguan Contras. Oscar-nominated John Singleton, Boys in the Hood, co-created the drama series and says he drew inspiration from his own life for Franklin's story. Originally aired on July 5th, 2017 on FX. So overall, I thought the characterizations throughout most of the characters were very, very strong. The plot development was, I thought, fantastic throughout the entire season and throughout the entire series as well. Cops and robbers, but the characterizations and tone for the piece of this one really did well for me. So I'm going to give overall Season 6 and the overall season an A. Well done. I thought this was a good season or series, thoroughly entertaining throughout. And probably the only thing I can remember that's off-putting with this whole thing was like episode 7 of Season 5 where they got tripped on LSD. Besides that, I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable show. I thought it was extremely well written. Nothing super novel or unique in terms of cops and robbers, crack cocaine in the 80s story, but just overall I thought it was very well done. So I highly recommend this season, and obviously if you're watching a Season 6 review, you've probably seen the rest of the seasons, but overall if you've not seen it, I definitely recommend this entire series. So, good job team at Snowfall, whoever wrote we just read his name, John Singleton, Dave Antron, and Eric Armadio, or I guess then there's more writers too, but well done TV show. So, at 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, 91% on Google, 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. So I'm with the crew on this one. So if you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. You're going to shut off the video. We'll be doing spoiler alerts and plot synopsis as best I can. So again, I watched this one. I kind of broke the seal. Again, I wanted the whole series to be out, but I watched it in chunks over time, as opposed to where I typically just binge a show to do the review. So recalling the plot as well as I can, I'm sure I'll miss some things. When the season opens up, the end of Season 5, Franklin Saint had robbed Louis and Jerome for going to Teddy behind his back, and now the family has fractured. So you have Franklin and Sissy Saint and which is his mother and his girlfriend to be wife Veronique on his side, and then you have Louis and Jerome on the other side. And Leon, who is his best friend, starts off the season in Africa. And Franklin's got a couple female bodyguards or enforcers or whatever, and that's kind of what sets it up. So the season starts off, and Franklin has robbed them. Jerome and Louis obviously want their money back. Kane is in the hospital from Louis having him set up to be killed by their undercover cop, which I believe his name was Kevin, but just the undercover cop guy that's with Louis and Jerome. And so they basically open up the season just going back and forth at each other. So Jerome meets with Franklin, give us our money back, and Franklin pulls a gun on him in a diner, and it's pretty much just on from there on out. So they go back and forth. Well, again, the opening. So after Franklin refuses to give Jerome his money back, and Franklin has two female bodyguards or enforcers. One of them's name's Black Diamond, the other one I forget her name. But basically, Jerome has Kevin the cop, or just whoever the cop character is, that's dirty on their team, pull over Black Diamond and the other female chick, and Jerome beats Black Diamond severely, and she ends up dying. So she dies, and then the other female enforcer dips out, basically saying, to Franklin, if something happened to one of us, the other one's going to take care of the kids and get out of the game completely. So then Franklin needs some new bodyguards or something. And so about episode 3, again, Leon is in Africa with Wanda, and he comes back and basically asserts dominance in the project. So he comes back, somebody else that he left the authority to, he beats him up pretty good. Yells in the project's got a gun. And it's like, I'm now running things again. And so he comes back around episode 3. Right around that time, you have, again, it's not like they're just like cut scenes. Like, it's not like but they have Franklin and Jerome and Louis basically trying to shoot each other up. But it's not like, it's just like once Leon comes back, he's catching up, and then it's just like a couple quick 3-5 second scenes. But I guess Franklin has somebody shoot up the club, and then that guy turns on Franklin and goes to Louis and Jerome, and is like, let me help get Franklin. At which point, again, Kane, who's this OG also in the game, he was shot at the beginning or at the end of season 5. He gets out of the hospital, and him and Franklin are in this house, and a hit team goes to kill him, the guy that had shot up the club for Louis and Jerome, and goes to kill Kane, and Franklin's there, and they shoot their way out of that one. And so, also in the beginning of the season, Avi, who has played a major role throughout the other seasons, he was killed at the end of season 5. So Teddy, who's the CIA operative, goes to try to keep the gun pipeline open, even after Avi had been killed by the KGB agent. And so Avi's out of the picture, but Teddy gets stiffed by I don't know what nationality Avi is, but his associates. And so that's kind of a minor thing. Throughout this season, Gustavo is under the watch of the DEA, so he's constantly playing Teddy's the CIA that wants the drug line to keep going, and Teddy's pretty much working alone. The DEA wants to pin Teddy, Franklin wants to kill Teddy, as well as Gustavo wants to kill Teddy, but they just can't get out from underneath him. And the DEA has pinched Gustavo, so he's pretty much trying to tiptoe the line throughout this season. And so, like I said, Leon and Wanda come back from Ghana, and Wanda's struggling to maybe get back on the crack again, and Franklin's just trying to get his money back. And so Kane, he has Louis rides goes horse riding, and so Kane kidnaps her from there, tortures her up really good. And I'm sure I'm missing substantial plot development. I just like I said, I watched it over a long period of time. And so she gets kidnapped. Kane tortures her. Franklin wants Louis dead. Louis wants Franklin dead. So Kane calls Franklin to see if he wants to do the honors, and Franklin's like, nah. And then Kane's gonna have Louis gang raped, and so Franklin kind of has some moral hesitation there, and so he immediately tells Jerome, and then Franklin, Jerome, Leon, and their muscle dudes, they pull up and try to rescue Louis. And so in that exchange, both Kane and Jerome get shot and killed. And so Jerome, probably one of the first major characters to die, unless I'm missing something, which it might be, probably. But so he's out of the picture. Louis is extremely distressed. Sissy tries to comfort her a little bit, and Louis is like, my husband's dead. And Sissy's like, my husband's dead too, because in a previous season, I don't know, 3 or 4, Teddy has killed Alton Saint for trying to, expose him and writing his real name and stuff like that. And so I thought minor, kind of a little off-putting there, just these are heavy crack dealers, and they're catching bodies left and right, and now one of them dies, and they're all super sad for half an episode. It's like, But regardless, that's what happens. And so Franklin and Sissy and Veronique, again, just trying to get a hold of Teddy. So they plot something where Franklin's going to get tied up, or Louis is going to deliver Franklin to Teddy under a guise, just under a facade, and then Gustavo's going to come in and save Franklin. And so And Gustavo's trying to get away from the DEA, and him and Franklin's relationship throughout the whole season is pretty much the only relationship that I think stays intact. Him and Leon kind of, but we'll get there. And so they do that. Louis drops off Franklin tied up to Teddy. Teddy ties him up in like a noose, and he's going to inject him and kill him with something. At which point Gustavo was supposed to show up, but the DEA has pulled the DEA arrests Gustavo, and then the KGB agent kills the DEA agent and tells Gustavo he's going to finish his mission. And so Franklin's, Gustavo's like 20 minutes late to when Franklin's about to get executed, so it's a pretty tense interaction, but Gustavo busts in with the KGB agent at his back. Franklin's tied up on a noose, and the Gustavo's like being used as a meat shield behind the KGB agent. Gustavo wrestles away the KGB agent. I think they just tie him up. They don't kill him, and then they get Gustavo I forget, but regardless, Teddy's about to torture Franklin, and then the KGB agent and Teddy both get caught, and the tables turn, and so Franklin and Gustavo are out of captivity. So now Teddy and the KGB agent are tied up, and Gustavo is trying to run away with his family. And so Franklin basically had promised him like $1 million to do this. So that's why they were staying together, or like on the same team. And so Franklin begins to torture Teddy. Just wants his money. Sissy wants to kill Teddy because, again, the danger to his family ongoing or something. And Louis kind of playing a minor role. She's about to get raided, so she goes on the run. Teddy finally agrees after Franklin pours like hot oil on his chest. Finally agrees to go half and half. And there's another minor CIA character, and so Teddy arranges to have the money transferred, at least half of it. And so Franklin and Sissy Sane are going to go and see through the transfer. They're going to do it in a public place, and that will be that. And so again, Franklin and Sissy start off on the same team throughout the season, and then they finally start to drift. Basically, Sissy wants the family to be safe. Franklin wants his money, and they just kind of have some tension and whatever throughout that. And so Teddy's literally about to make the transfer, and then when he was being tortured, Teddy had told Sissy that Alton was still alive and that he'd put him in a Puerto Rican prison. And so Teddy was in the public place, Teddy's like, no, of course Alton's dead. I shot him twice and dumped his body. And so Sissy, basically, right as Teddy's about to make the transfer and give the final passcode for the authorizations to make the wire transfer, Sissy shoots and kills Teddy. And so Franklin's now very distraught. So I didn't think that was super strong development. I don't know why they wouldn't let the money transfer. Again, completely fictional story, but let the money transfer and then shoot Teddy. But regardless, Franklin doesn't have his money, and Sissy is now going to be arrested for killing a CIA agent in broad daylight in front of 100 people. So she gets arrested and goes to jail. Louis on the run. Leon's doing all right in the projects. With Wanda ends up going back to Ghana after coming back, back and forth with Africa. Veronique leaves Franklin, so after they can't get their money, now they're in dire straits because they have this big downtown project, they have some properties or whatever, and so they bounce one of the checks, and so Veronique, they only had $800,000, $900,000. She withdraws all the money and leaves Franklin. Franklin kind of puts his hand on her, so that was kind of the breaking point. Again, another pretty major development at the beginning. Veronique's mom comes into the picture, who is, again, some criminal past to help figure out how Teddy's moved $73 million without direct CIA authorization. So there's some minor plot developments between Veronique's mom wanting her to leave Franklin and she choosing to stay with Franklin. And once he puts his hands on her, she takes the money and runs. And so now Franklin is pretty much out of all of his money. He's steadfast in wanting this downtown property or whatever, and sells some other properties. So again, it wasn't clear to me then when Veronique wanted to sell the downtown property or the share, and then Franklin sells these other properties, and that was the big distress. It's what does it matter if they sell this property or that property? But regardless, that's what happens, and she leaves. And so Kevin the cop, he doesn't get killed. He helps Louis escape, and then he's told, stay down face first until I'm out of here, and then he's pretty much out of the picture. And so that happens. Veronique's now out of the picture. Franklin's on his own. He goes to Leon. Leon has about $3 million and denies Franklin any cash. And so Franklin is now completely on his own, and goes pretty crazy. He has some informant dude who was looking for both Veronique and Peaches, who was the dude that robbed Franklin of about $5 million of cash or product last season. And so the undercover investigator, or the investigator for Franklin, says, I'm done looking for Veronique, we're done doing business, but here I found Peaches. So Franklin goes to Peaches' house. He's like, do you have any of my money left? And Peaches pulls a gun on Franklin. Franklin fires back, kills Peaches, and finds a safe in the back of the house. So then he needs somebody to open the safe. He gets the safe company to come out there and drill holes. At which point, it's going fine. The safe opener is not aware that Franklin's what's going on. And then this other dude, it's kind of like a rundown trap house, comes into the room and is like, where's Peaches? Where's Peaches? Starts screaming for Peaches, and then Franklin shoots him right in front of the safe dude. Or they run into another room and they hear the gunshots, and so now the safe dude's like, whatever. Franklin comes back to the room, open the safe. And he opens the safe and there's $15,000 in there. So obviously a comical amount to what he needs to maintain his property taxes or whatever. And so, he's he tells the safe guy, you can get out of here, you can leave, just keep the money. And as he's walking away, he shoots him as well. And so now Franklin's completely out. And at this point, I think you have Gustavo gets flown out. After the Teddy interaction, Franklin gives Gustavo the $1 million and flies him to wherever he's going. So Gustavo's running a wrestling ring somewhere in Mexico. And so Franklin, I think you have a two-year lapse, and it's there's literally a 2-year lapse and then a 1-year lap after that. And so regardless, at the very end of the season, Franklin's hitting the bottle super fucking heavy, super scraggly. The only property he has left is his mother's house that he bought for her, but is paid off, and that's the only asset he has now. But he's living in there with candles, no electricity. He's getting evicted for back taxes, and just drinking heavily on the bottle. And so he's doing that. Leon's still doing fine. Louie's on the run. She's hiding a stable barn thing, and wherever she's working, they cover for her, so she stays safe, it seems. Gustavo's in Mexico. Veronique's out of the picture. Wanda goes back to Ghana, and I think Leon joins her. And so Leon comes back to South Central one more time and sees Franklin's house being evicted. They walk down the street. Franklin's obviously losing it, and Leon still, they've been good friends. So they walk down the street. Leon gives Franklin a 20, buys another bottle, and Leon's like, I'll pay back taxes and get this place cleaned up. And Franklin's like, no, I'm finally free of the drug game. And so that's really the resolution of the entire series, is Franklin walking down the same street that they started in with absolutely nothing like he started. So overall, very well done. I thought this series was extremely entertaining throughout the entire thing. So overall, a solid A. And so again, major themes, crack in the 80s, not super novel. I thought the characterizations were extremely strong. I like the series throughout, and this was I don't know if it was planned or if it was just canceled, but this was the final season. So certainly recommend this one. I'm certain I missed some plot developments, but 10 episodes, about an hour long apiece, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you for watching my review of Snowfall Season 6, and I'll see you on the next one.